Hi everyone, Jason Armstrong here, First Presbyterian. We're with Mitch Macker of Water for Ishmael, and over here is Karla Lewis.
What's her name?
You all know her, but Karla Lewis, the elder in charge of missions, along with John Sluhan. And we've come to Water for Ishmael today to get a quick update on how they're doing this summer, what's going on. As you may know, we've been doing Zoom calls all through September and May with our mission partners, and Water for Ishmael is one of them. And after our call, this I think we talked in the fall or winter, we thought it'd be a good idea to come back in the summer and just do a real quick update on their ministry, and then get a quick tour of the building and so you can see some of what's going on, what the facility looks like here at Water for Ishmael.
Let's go.
Let's go.
My name is Mitch Macker, and I'm the ministry liaison here at Water for Ishmael, which basically means I connect with churches and help them to get connected to internationals. So, equipping the church, that's my main role here.
And Molly Elrod is doing the camera work today.
That's right.
Is volunteer coordinator here.
Yes, I have a face for radio. That's why I'm
As well
doing the
as a
recording.
valued member of First Presbyterian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
I'm glad you guys are here.
participation.
All right, let's start the tour.
So this is where adults learn English. It's a newly, yeah.
Yeah, so it keeps
Let me take
looking,
care of it. Yeah.
looking nicer
Looks
and
great.
nicer and nicer.
Yeah, we're doing our best with
I don't know if
what
nicer's
we
the
got.
right word, but I don't know.
Put together.
Yeah, I mean, it's really pretty. It's really welcoming.
Yeah. So our mission is to partner with the local church to build a welcoming community for the Toledo area internationals to share the hope and love of Jesus Christ, and to empower internationals with skills to become successful. And so being successful is depends on the person. And so we have some moms that come in to learn English just so that they can go to parent-teacher conferences and understand what the teacher's saying about their kids. Good and bad. You want to know those things as a parent.
Yeah.
You have women coming in that say, "Hey, I've always wanted to be a nurse. I don't know a lick of English, but I'm going to learn English and I'm going to become a nurse here." And so that's their long-term goal, and we're there walking through that process with them. Other men or women will come in. They've been a doctor for 20 years, and they have to learn English to get their equivalent certification to be able to practice again. And so some have already established careers that they're just trying to relaunch here in the area.
Okay.
When it comes to kids, our goal primarily is get the kids ready for kindergarten, because American school standards are so different than standards around the world. And so we gotta get those kids in shape for what they're facing when they turn 5 or for 6 or whatever. Yeah. And on the other side, our goal for Americans, for followers of Jesus, is to mentor them in train or to hold their hand as they engage with people that God sends here to our world, to the U.S., to Toledo, and help them to navigate cross-cultural communication, how to basically love them the best that we can in culturally relevant and practical ways. So a lot of times when I meet with somebody that first comes here, I ask them what are your goals? Whatever their goals are, that's my goal, to make sure that their goals become a reality. And a lot of times it's going back to the church. If someone's I want to become an engineer, I'm starting to think who's an engineer in my life that can help this person on the path. And so we're always looking to connect the goals of the internationals and the church, and meeting those needs, and in the midst of that, sharing the hope that they have. Not just hope in becoming an engineer, but hope in becoming exactly who God has called them to be. And we believe that God calls people to be followers of Jesus and desires that. And so our services don't depend on them following Jesus by any means, but we do want to share that with them so that they have a choice, so that they have options, and that they know that we are serving them out of our love for Jesus and our hope for Jesus. And so I mean, that's an integral part of what we do.
Sure.
So this is, we got our boardroom here. If you didn't know, we got a building in late 2019, right before COVID hit. And so we got to do a bunch of construction during COVID. And now we're settled in here finally. And it's been a really busy place for the last year. We want this place to be a super welcoming place for internationals. And so we did our best for our internationals to bring things from their home countries to decorate the place. And we want this to be a home away from their home country. This fall we'll probably be kicking off our sewing room again. Yikes, it's a lot of stuff.
It's a catch-all right now.
It's a catch-all. Okay, storage room. It'll be sewing. We teach people how to sew.
We do, and we have sewing machines. They're just...
So, just looking at the sewing room, can you tell us a little more about that program, how that's working, and the purpose of it?
Yeah, so lots of our English students are very, very low-level English students, and so they're just starting out. Their ABCs, starting to build their vocabulary, and hands-on activities is a really good way to learn. They're also, many of them are looking to further some skills here, and this is just one way for them to feel productive, one way for them to further a skill that's practical. Actually, when COVID hit, we had some clients that were pumping out face masks because they knew how to sew.
Yeah. Don't we have a church connection with that? Isn't Kit Curran?
Yeah,
part of that team,
she
or
played a
was
big
she?
role in the sewing class for a while. Yeah. She knows how to sew.
Yes, she does.
So when COVID hit, we were obviously not doing school for a few months, but we learned quickly how to adapt things, and we also found that one of the greatest needs as we were talking to our families is the remote learners, the kids that are at home remote learning. When their parents didn't know how to use a computer, when their parents didn't speak very good English, to communicate with with the teachers to find out what their kids were supposed to do, these remote learners were in danger of really falling behind. And so this room behind us, they're praying right now. But this room behind us became like a remote learning class. Yeah, so all the families with kids in elementary school, middle school, high school, they could bring their kids here, and we had staff members sit with them and make sure that they weren't gaming, that they were, actually getting through the material that their teachers were doing, and then also coordinating with teachers all around Toledo, Slovenia, Mommy, just to make sure that we're keeping them on track. Okay. This side of the building was like completely renovated during COVID.
Walls up.
Yep. So basically everything you see is new.
I was going to say, it looks different from last time I was here.
Yeah, definitely. So we, as you may know, we serve kids from 6 weeks up until kindergarten, getting them ready for kindergarten. Hello, sorry to interrupt. You want to come in? I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to come in, but we're coming in.
Oh, well, these are all staff kids, so this is great.
Yeah. 50 cents a piece.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi. This is one of my favorite rooms. It's our gross motor room, and it's just kind of a open canvas for play and
Yelling
stimulation,
and
yeah. So during COVID, it was a classroom, so it made play challenging because, we weren't really taking the kids outside. Our outside areas being redone, but this was a great space for kids to burn off some energy.
With the COVID situation being where it is now and things are opening up, and how has the volunteer needs or spots kind of changed as we're going into the summer? And like, what do you need? What are you seeing in the future?
Well, I've worked for nonprofits in the area, and I can tell you we have the best volunteer base. I mean, everybody thinks that their volunteers are the best, but we ask so much of our volunteers. So our volunteers teach all our elective classes like sewing, conversation, newspaper. We had one volunteer just come in and say, hey, I really want to do an exercise class. And what's great about this space now, because before we were at Washington Church, but here it can be a private space where they might be able to feel a little more comfortable, take off their hijab, and they're just with women, and then they can really open up. So, it's hot when you have a hat on.
Sure.
So just something like that. So our volunteers are just awesome. But as far as our needs, they really stepped up when COVID was happening. They did a lot of online. Some of them were comfortable going into people's homes, which was great. But now that classes are starting back up, we always have needs. Whether it's I can paint, I can do something out in the yard. I really want to work with students. I think the most important thing is they may be from a different country, but they're just like you and me. Like Mitch mentioned, some of our students have their master's degrees. I don't have my master's degree, but they're just eager to integrate into society and be someone just like you, So there's always, just like you. I didn't know if you knew that. People
Everyone
emulate
wants to be like you.
So there's always a need to just come alongside and sit with someone, especially our lower English speaking students. It just helps if they can turn to someone if the teacher's busy and say, can you help me, with this word, or I'm not understanding. That's really simple. You don't have to get up and teach. If you're someone who likes to instruct and wants to get in, we can always find a place for you. And our elective classes aren't just in a box. If there's someone who comes in and says, I'd like to do this, would you consider doing an art class? Totally.
So the obvious question is, how does one volunteer? Do they
Yes.
contact you?
Please do. You can call me. The best way to get a hold of me is email. Just so I have a record, and then I can keep stuff straight, because I get calls all day and I don't save numbers. But my email address is molly@waterforishmael.org, and you can always go to our Facebook page or our homepage at waterforishmael.org, and there's a fun little video of me welcoming you, and you can do a volunteer application that's really short and sweet. Your name, your info, and what you would be interested in. Nothing will commit you, because we want you to feel comfortable. I started off volunteering at Water for Ishmael. We had a How to Love Your Neighbor series at First Pres several years ago, and I jumped in the front of the line, pushing people out of the way to meet Janelle, because I just knew I had to be a part of this.